Okay, we are now live. My hope is that I am not about to be interrupted. But yeah, I'm back. I'm actually doing a stream. I'm actually doing something here on YouTube again. I'm going to make sure before we continue on that I send out a link to this stream. Make sure I don't send out a link where I invite people on here. Okay, that's the correct one. Allow me to send this out on Gab. Make sure that it's sent out on Twitter as well. And we will get started. I'm actually going to save this loot image on Twitter that's popping up in my feed. Got to keep that handy for later on. I think I've actually tweeted this girl before. She looks very familiar. But I actually have a decent few articles here to go through. So I'm not too sure how long this is going to run, but my hope is that it will not run for too long tonight, as I only have so much time. I will say, though, that today for me was decently productive, although I still have work to finish up for my actual job. Still have work there to do. But other than that, I actually worked on a script that I've been struggling to finish for 2 weeks. I got that just about done, which will be my Patreon video of the month. Pretty much running to the last possible day to do it. But it will happen because I have enough of the script done that I know it's, ready to be recorded and edited and all that shit and put up. So let me share my screen and we will get started with the links that I have to share. And okay, let me make sure that's all good. So good news is that my petition calling for the mayor to ignore the other petition and also the Buffalo legislature, the city legislature, is called a common council. My petition has actually overtaken the other petition. We're currently standing at 1,615 or 50 supporters, and the other one, I believe, has 1,300 or 1,400 supporters. So in 5 days, my e-celebrity has done more in the city of Buffalo, or for the city of Buffalo, protecting the city of Buffalo and its culture, than the Marxists can in 4 months. It took them 4 months to get the 1,400 signatures that they got. It took me 5 days. So you're welcome to everyone that is from this part of the world. I'd also like to thank Sargon for his support on Gab. He tweeted this out. And because of our collective e-celebrity, we've been able to save the city, potentially. I know it's not really a lot, and this is kind of just a bullshit petition, but I do think it's important to throw your weight around when you can. I think that in the future, if certain things come to Buffalo, it may require me to actually engage in some actual, closer to legitimate activism, because this is technically activism. But I'd rather not consider myself to be an activist, and I don't really like to participate in activism outside of just throwing my signature or a retweet behind something that is obviously in my interest. But I would like to thank every one of you that signed this petition and sent it around, tweeted it around, did whatever you did to sort of spread this around. But it's been a success from my position. Overriding their petition was my goal, and we achieved that goal, and I'm very proud of everyone that participated, and again, thank you for all those that signed it and spread it. So to start this as well, there's currently a Kickstarter going for a outlet that I have supported in the past, Sekai Project. And I'd like to just share it with you. They're currently 5,000 shy of their $40,000 goal. And I'd like to see them actually meet that goal, because I played the demo for this visual novel, and I liked it, and it was interesting. So I supported this, and I actually upped my support from somewhere around $20 to close to $60. So I thought I would share this with you guys to check this out, take a look, play the demo, see if you're interested. And if you are, consider supporting these guys in Kickstarter. And if they want to send me a check, they can. I'm willing to take their money. But it'll probably only after they actually manage to successfully kickstart their visual novel. But otherwise, I'd like a check, please. I'm able to fucking control policy in Buffalo. You should be able to fucking give me some money. So I guess we'll move on to another bullshit story, and that is this. I saw this article on One Angry Gamer, and they really are. We're running parallel. I'm running parallel with the writers on this website because we love to hate on Mass Effect Andromeda. And they wrote a very amusing article about how there was an EA executive that was defending the game, and they just wrote an article basically shitting on the game and shitting on him, and basically showing that he's doing what they did before and is just distracting away from the fact that the game is a fucking failure, just a colossal failure. And they also sourced that, you know, when I said you couldn't create white people, that's still true. Or actually, they corrected it, but it required a patch. So I had people push back on me on that. No, it happened. It was a real thing. Whether you think it's a mistake or not is the actual question. That's the argument you can make. I guess we'll lead into another bullshit story because I still see that people are loading in. So this was something that was published in July that I thought was incredibly amusing. And that is the fact that if you are from New York, you know that Andrew Cuomo, who is the governor of New York and has been for a couple terms at least, he is incredibly unpopular. He is incredibly unpopular. And that is because he is a utterly rudderless, cynical politician. And there's also a heavy amount of corruption that surrounds his administration. It isn't necessarily him that we know of yet, but there have been so many people surrounding him, Republicans and Democrats, that have been investigated or basically, convicted of actual crimes, that it's very likely that either he is the useful puppet for idiot or for the corrupt. He's the useful idiot puppet for corrupt people, or he himself is a corrupt person. I would say that unlike someone like Ronald Reagan, who I thought was an idiot puppet for the corrupted influences all around him, I think that Cuomo is in fact a corrupting influence. I think he is himself corrupt. And that explains why there's just so much corrupt people around him, is because of him. So they ran a poll in July, basically asking a whole array of people all over New York State what they thought of the idea of Andrew Cuomo running for president. And it's hilarious because he is incredibly unpopular. Even among Democrats, he is incredibly unpopular. And I found this article endlessly amusing because it just says to you that while people can say a lot about New York, and they can say a whole lot about New York City, and a lot of it is justified, there are a lot of fucking retards in New York City. There are also a lot of people in this state that are on the ball and know that that this guy is a piece of shit. And it's funny too is that even Chuck Schumer, who is more popular than Cuomo, that doesn't necessarily have the same amount of corruption surrounding him, is still also pretty unpopular. He has a small majority that approve of him, but he's also pretty fucking unpopular. I just found that to be incredibly funny. This whole article, this whole poll, was they looked around for the most popular politician in New York, and they didn't really find one. Oh, Christ. It's really funny to me. And my hope is that he doesn't actually run for president. I'm sure if you're a Republican, if you're listening to this and you're a Republican or a Republican operative, you absolutely want Cuomo to run for president. Because he's a John Kerry. He's less than a John Kerry. He is beatable. He is absolutely fucking beatable. And again, like, he can't even lock down his own state. He's going to get primaried again the next time he's up. And if, it was Zephyr Teachout before, and she was fairly competent, she just didn't have name recognition, and she got a decent amount of fucking votes. I gave her money and voted for her. she was a nobody and still did some serious damage to Cuomo. And if the left in this state weren't in the midst of their own fucking meltdown because of identity politics, this guy might even lose his next primary against somebody who would be like essentially social justice light. He can get taken down just because of how fundamentally unpopular he is. Despite him having all the money in the world, he has a war chest, an absolute war chest to run for his next campaign and every campaign because he's corrupt. But you can't just win on money. Ask Hillary. It isn't enough. Money is not enough. You actually have to have a support base. And he doesn't have it. He absolutely doesn't. So he is very vulnerable. And if you're a Republican, this is the face of the guy you want to run against Trump. Because he's fundamentally fucking weak. So let me X off of... Oh, God damn it. Fucking close an article. Let me get that back up. Okay, thankfully it's not the one with the video, so it's not going to interrupt things. Petition. Who's afraid of Antifa? Yeah, okay. So I saw this earlier in the week, and I did a video, but I unfortunately didn't finish it because I was just too angry, and I've been having some issues sleeping, although today was a bit different, thankfully. So unfortunately, this video didn't happen. Got my vodka and orange juice ready. And this article from the New York Times opinion section, this has to be one of the worst fucking articles I've read on Antifa and violence in the United States. And this guy is like some cocksucker fucking professor from Columbia. He's a fucking journalism professor from Columbia, which is like one of the major journalism universities. So you pretty much get the idea of in the rant that I made, I said that this is the bourgeois intelligentsia trying to propagandize and convince me to go fight their battle for them. They very much are the embodiment of an aristocracy. The professors, the media, the writers, the actors, they are an aristocracy. And what they want is for me to self-identify as a leftist and get onto the streets and fight my neighbor for them. That's what they want me to do. That's what they want you to do. If you're listening to this, if you are a leftist or a conservative, they want you and I to identify as liberal or as leftist and as conservative and just head onto the street and fucking beat each other up on their behalf. I would say that there's a little bit less in terms of the intelligentsia on the right, although it does exist, and it's mostly corporate. I would say that's who they want on the streets fighting for them, are the corporate interests. On the left, it's a hodgepodge of corporate interests and ideological interests. And I would say that the ideological interests and the intelligentsia interests, those very much are the majority of the interests that are pushing for violence. And so I say to the New York Times, you should not publish this guy's article. This guy is instigating domestic terrorism. He should be this guy, Todd Gitlin, should be investigated by authorities for trying to convince people to attack their neighbors for no other reason than ideological or even just political differences. This is extremely dangerous fucking propaganda, and I think that it should be called out, which is why I'm calling out right now. Fuck you, Todd. If I ever meet you, I'll punch you. There you go. How would you like that? You want me to punch my neighbor who's conservative? How about I punch you? Because you are a sympathizer with domestic terrorists. How about that? Fuck you. Go die. Please. Please kill yourself. Please do, Todd. I know you're a professor and you think you have a good life and everything else, but no, we live in a horrible white supremacist wasteland. There's no hope. Go kill yourself, please. Do this world a favor and please die. So this article is actually the opposite. This was very much a more sympathetic article with, I would say, more so our side, which is that Antifa are violent and that there are right-wing people at these events that are not doing anything. These are not just white nationalists wearing their matching faggy white polo shirts. And I say this as someone wearing a polo shirt. It's blue and striped, not faggy. But I kind of lost my train of thought. Let me take a sip of vodka. That'll help me. Okay, now I remember. So this article actually demonstrates what the problem is. And that is the fact that you have people that are attacking random people on the streets and doing so proudly. I mean, here you see fucking these faggots just posing, voguing for the fucking journos, taking pictures of them. I mean, this is the embodiment of people that are emboldened. They believe wholeheartedly that they are going to get away with what they're doing. And this is absolutely, this article is an absolute 180 by the mainstream press. This is a 180 by them. They are completely turning around. And I would say that there are probably articles on here saying that this is acceptable to punch Nazis and whatever else. I doubt that this is more than just a lone voice. But good on this article. And good on the Washington Post for publishing it. Good on Kyle Swenson calling out what's going on here and the fact that this isn't appropriate and that there is a real issue here. There is a real issue. And, you know, even if you disagree with the people that are there marching, it doesn't mean that you can just beat them up. Even if you emphatically disagree with what they're saying, you can't just show up places and beat the shit out of people. Let's actually take a look at some of the comments, because the comments on that New York Times article was a fucking wasteland. I don't even want to show you just the most retarded goddamn comments you'll ever see. All bourgeois leftists that can fuck off and die. Oh, hold on, we're fucking up. This kind of leftist violence is self-indulgent and completely self-defeating. It alienates fellow citizens who would otherwise be sympathetic to the left and plays straight into the narrative of an innocent, victimized hard right. The Antifa left needs to stop using these events to act out their adolescent fantasies of heroic violence and start to think intelligently about what will actually advance their cause. Boom, there you go. And this is the top comment on this fucking article. Completely right. I mean, and here you have the next comment. Democrats need to stand up against them as strongly as the equal but opposite far right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So here you have a group of people that are saying, you know, they're standing together saying, you know, I'm on the left, I'm on the right, fuck the violence. The violence is unacceptable. This needs to absolutely stop. And this is a good thing. This is what we want to see. We want to see more people joining together to say that the violence needs to stop. Stop acting out violently. Antifa needs to be fucking cracked down on. When they show up, they need to be ostracized, and they either need to be kicked out of the event by the fellow protesters, or they need to be hounded by police until they leave. That's what needs to happen. Or arrested. I don't really give a shit. Fuck these people. You know, I'm writing you off, Antifa. Any member of Antifa, I don't care. You can spend the rest of your life in jail. That's your issue, man. I don't give a fuck. You're damaging this country in a way that shouldn't be happening. I mean, we're seeing damage done that's equitable to the 60s. This can't happen. So if you go to jail for something you did, fuck off. You know? Use your fucking bourgeois father to hire you a lawyer and deal with it then. All right? Because I don't give a fuck. You have no sympathy from me. Let's see. Rhyme Times comment here. As a nonviolent activist, this response saddens me. Violence is wrong and just inspires more escalation and more violence, regardless of who instigates it. Absolutely right. The people on the right who showed up to make trouble got exactly what they wanted, yes. Despite the fact that a couple thousand nonviolent people were there, it was all overshadowed by the sickening attacks on others. Absolutely. Compare this with the peaceful rally in San Francisco the day before. I don't believe it was peaceful, which I attended. The city government created a joyful and welcoming party attended by thousands. I'm not sure that's true. The hateful crowd essentially just left because there was no place for them to be. The city of Berkeley would have done well to follow their lead. So at least, you know, this person who's clearly on the left has the the right idea in mind, that this is counterproductive, that there shouldn't be room for this, and that these people should go home or be dealt with. Evacuated, as some Germans would say. Okay, here's another good comment. Another super popular comment, 119, one of the top comments. Apparently, a lot of people are ignorant on how it's supposed to be in this country. But, one, you have the right to be a bigot, 100% correct. You don't have the right to batter another person, including bigots, absolutely right. You have the right to counter-protest, correct. Counter-protest does not include violence or preventing someone from exercising their First Amendment rights. One of the top comments in this Washington Post article. Absolutely correct. It's as simple as that. They have the right to show up and assemble. You have the right to come show up and assemble. And no one has the right to fucking beat each other up. If somebody attacks you, you can pin them to the ground and all the rest. But the fact is that the only people that are allowed to beat anybody up is a cop in the midst of an arrest. That's it. That's the only person that's sanctioned to beat somebody up, is a cop. And they have obvious limitations, as we all know. So violence is not lawful unless you're being attacked and you're trying to defend yourself. But this is common sense. And I'm glad to see that there are many, many people out there that recognize the truth in this article, that are following up and saying, I'm somebody standing up for what I believe, and that is that this violence is wrong. So I wanted to share this with everybody just to counteract that Antifa article from the New York Times, to show you that people on the ground, people in the comment section, people that are actual Americans, not cocksucker bourgeois cunts writing from the New York Times, that people on the ground realize that this is wrong and it should be dealt with properly. So this is my positive article of the day, to show you that those of us that are common folk, people on the ground, we recognize this is wrong. This is a common sense thing to realize that this is wrong and should be stopped. And it counts for both sides. And you see this throughout this comment section. Both sides need to stop. And I absolutely agree. And so far, you've seen the right, not in every case, but in many cases, trying to do the right thing. Canceling events to try to de-escalate the situation. While I don't agree that they should have to fucking cancel their rallies, I don't agree with that, but at least they're trying to do it to de-escalate the situation. Plan another event for another time. That's the right thing to do. Even though, again, I sympathize with people saying they shouldn't have to do that. I absolutely agree. They should. They should just have the rally, some protesters show up, and that should be it. But no, it's the aristocracy, it's the bourgeoisie. I know people don't like me using the term, and they say I overuse it, but it's true. It is true. It is an aristocracy that is pressing for violence. They want us to fight one another on their behalf. That is what they are calling for. And fuck them. That's my answer. And thankfully, most people, the average American, is saying the exact same thing as I'm saying. Fuck them. You know, maybe, I don't know how healthy it is for the average American to be saying fuck the bourgeoisie. I don't know if that's a healthy America to live in. But that's what I'm saying. So we get to a nuclear dog shit take, and it really disappoints me. Because I like Li Fang. Li Fang is one of the best people at The Intercept. He's sharp, witty, clear-eyed, clean-cut guy. He doesn't strike me as one of these other aristocratic faggots that you see running around everywhere, especially at the fucking Intercept. There are a ton of fucking dirtbags at the Intercept, but he really is somebody that I, at one point, respected, and I want to respect. You know, I like Li Fang. I don't hate the guy, but this is one of the worst fucking articles that I've ever seen come out of the Intercept. And it is long. It is a long fucking article. And every fucking sentence in it is absolute garbage. It is just an awful goddamn post. It is full of lies and misquotes and just bullshit. It is absolute dog shit. And I'm just going to say this to Lee. I mean, obviously he's not going to watch this, but bro, I am legitimately disappointed that you helped write this. This is an absolute awful fucking article trying to demonize people and trying to equate everyone with a fucking white supremacist. Okay? You're wrong. You're wrong for writing this article. You should be embarrassed that you wrote this. And this is an article that's full of lies, and you're better than this, man. You know, if your hopes are to be a real journalist, focus on real journalism. Go on the ground and actually ask some people what they believe. Don't write from on high a bullshit article like this. I'll link it below when this stream's done. You can go watch it yourselves. But this is literally, and I mean this, one of the worst articles that I have read on the idea of Trump and white nationalism and all the rest. And I'll give you a classic example of how you know. And everyone that was part of Gamergate is going to recognize this. They also say men's right activists in here. That's another key sign that this is bullshit. Let me see where I can find it. They have 4chan here. Ah, here it is. In recent years, however, 4chan's trolling campaigns have merged with larger political debates about multiculturalism and diversity. The Gamergate controversy, which they never correctly, they always put a lowercase g on gate, which annoys me. It's capital G. Political debates about controversy, which tapped into the rich vein of misogyny running through 4chan and included aggressive harassment of women online. Total fucking narrative. Total fucking, completely, demonstrably false. One, you have to accept that this was about gaming and about gamers, because that's who partook in Gamergate, as you can tell by the first part of the fucking word. You idiots that wrote this. And 4chan, if I recall, banned all discussion of Gamergate. So no, you can't link 4chan with Gamergate. If you say 8chan, that's correct. It seemed to me that most of it was on Reddit and YouTube. But if you say YouTube, 8chan, and it was banned on 4chan, then you're at least within the realm of reality. But when you say 4chan and fucking multiculturalism, diversity, and misogyny, you're full of fucking shit. You should be better than this, Li Fang, okay? You should be better than this. This is standard basic bitch fucking journal bullshit. How many times are we going to invoke this multi-year-old fucking movement that has been dead since what, 2015? 2 years it's been over with, and you're still fucking invoking the name and still misrepresenting what it was about? It's pathetic. It's absolutely fucking pathetic. And again, this is one paragraph in this long, awful fucking article. Absolutely fucking awful article. So I encourage you guys to go watch it. And guess who? Guess who they use as an example of a fucking white nationalist? Gavin McInnes. Gavin McInnes, who is over and over and over again distanced himself from the alt-right. Over and over again, he has said that he is not a white nationalist. It says the fact that he's married to someone who's Native American. Has consistently and emphatically said that he is not in any way a white nationalist. And yet, you have him right here, dead center, on an article about fucking white nationalism. This is fucking defamatory. This is a fucking defamatory goddamn article. There should be people suing The Intercept over this fucking article. You know, I mean, this is the kind of shit that ends a fucking career. This is the kind of thing that you can get punched in the street over. You can get death threats to you and your fucking multiracial family. This is something you should not be doing, Li Fang. I don't give a fuck who this other idiot is. You should not be doing this, Li Fang. What are you doing? This should be embarrassing to you. This is a defamatory article that you co-wrote. Jesus Christ, man. And the fact is that there are alt-right people out there. Jared Taylor is a real person. Richard Spencer is a real person. If you want to talk about white nationalists, just fucking go ask them. They fucking exist. You absolute fucking assholes. They exist. They will tell you what they believe. Go ask them. Go interview them. Ask fucking Gavin McInnes what he believes, and he'll tell you overtly that he is not a fucking white nationalist. that he didn't attend the Unite the Right rally, and he told his own members of the Proud Boys to not go. He said it multiple times. He did multiple videos saying, do not go. I disown. I do have nothing to do with this rally. I'm glad I didn't go the rest of it. And yet you still fucking have Unite the right here talking about Charlottesville, and Gavin McInnes right fucking here. This is defamation. Fuck you, Lee Fang. God. It's like, again, like, I've read articles by Lee Fang where I know he's better than this. I know he is better than this shit. You know, I expect this shit from Salon and other Mother Jones and all the rest, okay? I get that The Intercept is a shit outlet, but at least can some of the people at the outlet that are not dog shit just not follow the rest of their fucking cohorts down the echo chamber of bullshit? If you want to meet a white nationalist, call up fucking Richard Spencer. He will give you an interview. He will. He's desperate to find anyone that he can to talk to him. You can go talk to him. Jesus Christ. So we'll move on to a more bullshit. Well, it's not really bullshit, but another one before. Because I don't want to follow this up and get angry again. I'm going to take a sip of my fucking vodka. That is, if it'll fucking load. I don't know what's going on here. I hope my internet didn't just go down. That wouldn't be good. Are we still live? I think we're still live. Are we still live? I don't know what's going on. I'm confused and afraid. God damn it. All right, well, I guess we'll move on. So I did a stream a while back, and I believe it was called Trump Becomes Clinton. And the reason I did that stream, and I don't remember the exact policy that Trump was proposing, actually, it was an attack that he did, I think it was in Syria. And it was a bad move, in my opinion. And it showed that people were whispering in Trump's ear, and he was listening to them. And I'm hardly the only one that said it, but I warned that Bannon, Steve Bannon, the guy that ran Breitbart and is now back there, that dismissing him or basically having him removed or having him resign or he resigned or whatever, having him removed from Trump's, I believe he was the chief of staff or chief of strategy, I don't remember. But getting rid of him was a bad move. That while there are things that him and I are obviously going to disagree on, and if you're a liberal, an actual liberal, we're going to disagree on and all the rest, that one of his strengths was that he was a very serious skeptic, as it were, of our foreign policy. And while I would say that I'm in no way an isolationist, and I'm sure most of you that have listened to me know that by now, that I am very much a skeptic of what we're doing, especially in the Middle East. I don't think that it is effective. And so did Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon also said that we had been making countless blunders in our foreign policy and that Trump should not continue to go along with the policy that we've had in the Middle East since Bush. I mean, whether you want to say the first Bush or the second Bush, it doesn't really make much of a difference. It's been the same for about as long as that I've been alive. And it's not working. It's not even a matter of me not liking whatever. You know, I want to say anything about Muslims. It's just that our foreign policy is not effective in the Middle East. We might be getting billions of dollars in fucking weapons deals with Saudi Arabia, but we have a massive national deficit, so what does it fucking matter? What does it matter if we make 10 billion here, 10 billion there? What does it fucking matter? We have like $1 trillion fucking deficit. What does it even matter that we're making money selling weapons? Other than we're employing people in certain people's districts. Other than it's essentially a jobs program, which it appears to just be. The fucking government just funneling money into a handful of corporations that employ a lot of people in a lot of districts for a lot of weapons we don't need, we don't use, and if we do use, we don't win wars. What is the fucking point of any of this? Other than some people making a lot of fucking money through taxpayer money. So I didn't like Bannon's removal from the White House. I thought that this was a mistake. I thought that this was a bad move. I thought that this is one of the lone voices in his cabinet that would actually offer him sage advice. That I think that this has got a guy who you could at worst say is an ideologue. That, you know, he believes certain things, and that's, you know, you don't agree, but at least he actually believes them. It's a lot of other people that are part of his cabinet, you know, whether it's the Wall Street cocksuckers or the generals that are working on behalf of defense contracting companies. Like, there are a lot of bad voices in his cabinet that you would hope he's not listening to. And so we move to the next article where Trump completely just betrays his own fucking base. And when I made that stream talking about how Trump is becoming Clinton, okay, here you go. Here you go. I mean, what greater example do you need of this than Trump just basically saying, like, you know, Obama had it right on Afghanistan. Bush had it right in Afghanistan. The original Bush had it right in Afghanistan. All the presidents had it right on Afghanistan. We just need to stay there indefinitely. Stay there indefinitely, never, ever make any progress, and just pump tens of billions, trillions of dollars into the shithole country. For what? To maintain our presence? We can just have a military base there. Make a Germany-style fucking massive military base and let the rest of the country just be a shithole. We can maintain a presence there. We don't have to continue to do what we've been doing in the country. And it's been our ineffective. And the thing is that this is something, again, this is something that Trump campaigned on, that he wasn't going to do. And he said it over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, there was an article, I think, by someone at the Daily Wire or somewhere else, it might have been Breitbart, where Trump said this over and over and over again, that involving ourselves in the policy that we had in Afghanistan was a fucking mistake. It wasn't working, and that he wouldn't do the same thing. And he is doing the exact same thing. There's no other way to put this than Trump is doing exactly what Obama did and all the rest have done. And he listens to the generals in his cabinet that are just telling him things to not win the war, but to just make money for defense contractors. That's the fucking truth of it. This is about making money for defense contracting corporations. This is not about winning a war. Every cocksucker that told him to do this is going to be serving on the fucking board of a defense contracting corporation in their lifetime. Every single one. Every single person that told him to do this, to continue this policy, to just continue to waste money in this way, to waste their time, to waste the lives of our soldiers, they are going to eventually serve or have money invested in a defense contracting corporation. That is what this is. There is no other way to state this case than just that. This is about making money on the lives of people. This is not about our influence in the world. This is not about America. This is not about winning any wars. This is not about anything. This is just about pumping taxpayer dollars into fucking companies that will collapse without it. You want to talk about socialism? This is the most pure form of it. It is nothing but the military-industrial complex. It is people making money on wars that we will never win because we don't have the policy. We don't have the means to win it. You actually have to have an effective policy and strategy to win a war, and we do not have one, and yet we're continuing on it anyways because it's not about winning. It's about continuing being there and spending billions of dollars. That's what it's about. It is an open and obvious conspiracy. And if you are a Trump voter, you have to stand up to this. And I have seen a lot of fucking people on the right call this out and say they are incredibly disappointed by this. That they really do not like the fact that Trump completely did a 180 on this, is completely betraying what he campaigned on in this way. And what this says also is that Trump is not willing to stand up to certain corporations. To certain corporate interests, Trump is not going to stand up to them. He is too weak. He is too limp-wristed. He is too low energy to stand up. He's too cocked to stand up to certain corporations and to certain interests. And that is especially the military. and all the interests that surround it, that all the corrupting influences that are all over it, all the bureaucracy, all the waste in the Pentagon where you have trillions of dollars just disappearing and no one cares. Trump is likewise like that. He doesn't fucking care. He's just going to go along with it. Go along, get along. That is Trump's message on the Middle East so far. And I'm not saying this as someone trying to shit on Trump. I'm just saying that he betrayed his base. He shouldn't have done this. This is a massive fucking mistake. He should not have done this. And getting rid of Bannon is the consequence. I mean, removing Bannon is, this is going to be the direct consequence of that. You know, him being the voice in the room saying, Trump, this is a bad idea. Don't do it. Now that he's gone, there's no one. There's fucking no one. I mean, do you think Stephen Miller is going to stick his neck out and get fucking lopped off and be gone just like Bannon? I don't think so. Although he might be another one that's eventually gone. Because he's not a collectivist. He's not a fucking globalist. He's not somebody that's part of Wall Street. He's not somebody that wants the status quo to remain exactly as it is because they make bank on it, because they profit from it. He's not that guy. And agree or disagree with him. But a lot of the other people that are part of Trump's cabinet, and that's the thing, that people, I forgot who said it, whether it was, oh, what's his name? I'm fucking blanking. I want to say, hold on a second. Let me look up an article by him. No, this isn't him. God damn it. He's, I think he runs the Daily Wire, or he's the main guy at the Daily Wire. Emily Zanotti, who wrote for, God damn it, fucking Daily Wire. What is wrong with your website? I'm trying to just look up a fucking article and you got this dog shit fucking bullshit popping up. Get it out of here. Where is he? Okay, and the article's just gone. It just disappears on my screen. God, fucking Daily Wire. Fuck your website, bro. Where is it? Now I'm fucking up. Now I'm fucking up because of this. Okay, actually, Ben Shapiro. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen. The vodka's kicking in. It's a tall glass. So yeah, Ben Shapiro, and I don't even know where I was going with that, but I think it was Ben Shapiro that said that now that Bannon's gone, that maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't, but name somebody that's part of Donald Trump's cabinet that wouldn't also serve Hillary Clinton. And as far as I can tell, that's very true. There are a lot of fucking globalist and everything else people that are part of his cabinet now that would very much see eye to eye with Hillary Clinton. And that's not a good thing. So yeah, this was a bad mistake by Trump. And if you're a Trump supporter, I encourage you to call this out. I encourage you, even if you have to like say whatever about Trump, like you have to realize that if you don't call him out very harsh now, he's going to continue on with it with your blessing. You know, this should be something that you say like, bro, do you want to be reelected? Then you better not fucking go down this road. You know, you have to make threats now while you can. Because if you just roll over and go along with it, then he's just going to never stop. He's just going to continue. And we'll be there until I'm fucking 80 years old or however long it takes, you know? I'll be 80 years old and my great-grandchild will be in the fucking war. You know what I mean? Unless it stops, it's just going to keep going. And we're just going to continue to be there. We're just going to continue to follow the same fucking policy. And I'm not saying don't be there, withdraw completely, never be step foot into fucking Afghanistan forever. But it's like you have to change the policy. You have to change the strategy. What we're doing is not working. How many decades need to pass before we realize that? So, okay, finally this article fucking loads. And this is one of the fucking things that people are saying, that one of the real dangers of all of this fucking increase in the policing of people's opinions online and all the rest of it that we've seen in mostly Europe, that eventually that's going to turn around on the left, and that they will become targets of the same tools. Because with the government, there's a lot more at stake with the government. They serve their own interests. It's not really ideological within the government. You're serving the government interest. And that can be good and bad in some ways. But that if you think that this is, you can enjoy it targeting the right, but it is eventually going to turn around and fucking decapitate you. And that's appears to be what seems to be happening in Germany currently. That there were a whole shitload of homes that were raided, that were people that were arrested on that were believed to be part of Antifa. And I actually think that the reason they were arrested was because of the G20 summit, that those that participated and did violence during the G20, which is a super fucking corporatist fucking interest, super corporatist, like uber corporatist. People can say what they will about the G20 being about governments and American influence. I don't fucking think so. If you ask me, a lot of this is of the corporate interest and the corporatist influence. And guess what? This is what I mean. You will be indulged, leftists, so long as you don't threaten the corporate interest. If corporatists see you as a threat, you then become the target. So you better fucking realize that the corporations are not really on your side. Many see you as a useful idiot for the time being, and even ideologically run companies, essentially like Google, that it ultimately comes down to the bottom line. If you start basically resisting them and threatening them, they're going to come down on you just as much as they would the far right. They're going to use the exact same tools that they use against the far right, they're going to use against you. The corporate interest is more powerful than any other in this world. That's the world we live in. People can rant and rave about the government and how the government's spooky, scary, and it can be in certain ways, especially when you're, having your door kicked in by a cop and all the rest. But guess what? The corporations are the ones dictating that happens. That's what the challenge is here. It's not about left-wing, right-wing, the institution and the government's fucking spooky, scary. It's about the corporate interest. It's about the fucking money. That's what this is about. And there was once a time when the left understood that. When the left actually understood that economy and finance and corruption and all the rest played more a part in government and society than anything else. When class was a real issue. That seemed to be killed off. It was never agreed upon, in my estimation, by the right. But with the left, that was something that was once agreed upon, but is now dead. And the left killed it. And I'm still one of those people that says that we need to return to the basic understanding of class, of economy, of finance, the danger that capitalism poses for itself. Not that socialism is any kind of real alternative, but that capitalism, if left to its own devices, will kill itself and lead to despotism and oligarchy and all the rest. So our influence or our role in society as leftists should be to check the interests of the capitalists, of the bourgeois, of the investors, all the people that are trying to build monopolies, control governments, and basically use their power to levy over government to control society. That should be the role that we play. The right can play the part of promoting entrepreneurship and all the rest of that shit, but we should be checking capitalism. We should be checking the influence of these people upon our society and upon government. That should be the role we play. But we don't do it. Nowadays, we're in bed with the corporations. We embrace the corporations. We're calling and I won't get to the article today because I haven't read through them all the way. But, we're now declaring the corporations the moral voices of America. We progressives, we fellow progressives should be joining arms with the corporations because they're so trustworthy. No, they're not. They never will be. They will never be our ally in any way because eventually they will turn against us as soon as we realize that they actually are pursuing monopolies and pursuing control over society and governments and by proxy through us. Okay, once we realize that, it'll be too late. And we'll start to resist them. And then guess what they're going to do? You think they're just going to say, oh, no, we still believe in, oh, we're for the gays and gay pride and equality. And blah, 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 blah. No, they're going to turn around and fucking decapitate you. The second it becomes advantageous to do so, they will fucking do it. That is what they are. That is what they believe. That is their core. They are corporatists. That is who run these corporations. They serve their own interests. You are nothing more than advantageous for them at this very moment in time. That is it. That is all this is. All the PR. I mean, you fell for the PR. You fell for the PR. What is wrong with you? And again, that's the separation. And I see people today, and I understand why, it's saying that they're done with the left. They can't stand the left anymore. They don't want to be called a leftist anymore. They want to distance themselves as much as they can from the left. But it's like, and I've said this before, and I've seen conservative voices agree with me on this, and all props to them for doing so, because I think I'm right, and I think that they're right, and that there needs to be that kind of dichotomy. There needs to be a dichotomy between the left and the right. We need to have political disagreements. We need to have ideological disagreements. We need to have differing worldviews. We need to have differing ideas of how society should be run, of what politics should be, and all the rest. I think that there obviously needs to be some kind of common core, not to use a fucking inflammatory phrase, but there needs to be a common core of beliefs that we do share. I think that that's very healthy for society. But there needs to be a difference of opinion and an honest and healthy debate. And I'm not going to, invoke some kind of golden age, because I don't think there ever was one. But that needs to be the agreed upon thing in society is, you're left, I'm right. We don't punch each other. We don't kill each other. But we disagree, and that's what it is. Maybe I'm not an intellectual, you're not, and we basically look to somebody that's like a Christopher Hitchens or somebody else to represent our interests or our beliefs on our behalf, essentially, or a politician to represent our beliefs and all the rest on our behalf, and to fight the good fight on our behalf. But you don't solve political issues by fighting on the streets. You don't solve political issues by rioting and burning down locally owned businesses. You don't solve anything by violence. You don't solve anything by doing what you've seen all over this fucking planet by the left. And you can say the same for the right, and any of the people on the right that are engaging in violence themselves. This is not going to solve any issues, and this is not any kind. I mean, we live in civilized society. I mean, people want to talk about the West, and people want to talk about civilization and what we stand for in the West. This is third world bullshit. Okay, this is savagery. This is bullshit. I mean, how many hundreds of years do you need to go back to where you still have people in the West solving political disagreements by the ballot box, by political debate, by speeches, by standing up for what they believe and inspiring people and persuading people, winning their vote, winning their standing, basically to have someone self-avow that they believe the same as somebody else. Like, that is how we do. That's how we deal with disagreements in the West, in the civilized world. That's how we act. That's how we should act. That's how we should be as people in the West, as people that are civilized. That's the point of civilization, is to be civilized, of civility, to engage with one another in an intellectual debate, and to win using strategy and tactics and good arguments and all the rest. That's how you win in our societies. And competition is great. It's a healthy thing. You don't win by beating the shit out of your political opposition in the streets. That isn't how you win in the civilized world. And I just don't understand any of this. Like, this to me is so antithetical to anything that I believe. I'm more than willing to say that I'm willing to defend myself, defend my property, and if you get in my face and say some extremely offensive things to me personally, that you may eventually draw me into punching you, but that's you acting like an asshole, and that's me resorting to my base instincts and to my anger, rather than any kind of real debate or discussion. I'm sort of on a tangent because of this article, but I really think that I don't understand where the left is coming from, and I think that the left, as we all know at this point, has strayed so far from where it should be that I really do think that this is just an ongoing refusal to look in the mirror and understand that there is something very much wrong currently with the modern left in the entire West. There's something very wrong with it, and that's not saying the right doesn't have their fair share of issues and contradictions and all the rest and disagreements, but on the left, we are so far off the path of where we should be, or at least something that would be recognizable as a civilized political disagreement, that I really think that it's just something that needs to be continually called out, that it's like, okay, listen, this is completely unacceptable. And that's going to be the script essentially that I wrote that I'm going to hopefully have time to work on and publish tomorrow. That this is not legitimate. And as you saw with that article from the Washington Post, that thankfully most people recognize this. Most people have the common sense that this is the wrong path that we should be going down. This is not right. This is not civilized, and that a lot of people disagree with, and I'm glad for it. It's just the fucking intelligentsia. It's the cynical actors. It's the corporations. It's all the rest that think they're going to achieve something by this, that are egging this on. And, I think I can only speak for myself in this way, but as someone that's still, even to my detriment, identifies as somebody on the left, this needs to stop. We need to end this. We need to be done with this. We need to get past this. And we need to essentially find a new intelligentsia. We need to find a new fucking bourgeois aristocracy to write articles and all the rest. We just need to find new representation, because the corporatists and the bourgeois fucking globalists and the cynical fucking cocksucker writers at the New York Times and all the rest, that they don't represent our interests anymore. They literally do not. They represent their own interests. They don't represent ours. So fuck them. And that's my opinion on this article. So we get to the last article that I got for today, and this is just another fucking aggravating, just tiring goddamn article. And I know from people posting that this is not as severe as people want it to be. I'm sure if you're in Japan or you're in this part of the world that this does scare you, but this is not the first time that the North Koreans have done this kind of shit before. It is spooky, scary, and all the rest. But North Korea launched a missile over Japan, directly over Japan into the sea, and this was essentially a threat. This very much was North Korea threatening Japan and threatening us and threatening the established status quo in East Asia and looking to upset everyone in this position. And I think that Trump's response was pretty limp-wristed. I read through his response to this, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty low energy. This is actually pretty... and I think it's telling, because I think that Trump knows something that we don't. And I think that when Bannon said that we're fucked as it relates to North Korea, I think he may have been right. I think he may have been basically releasing some inside knowledge of the cabinet, of the president's inner circle, that to some capacity we are fucked with North Korea. But the issue is that we can't give in to threats. We can't give in to coercion. We just can't. We can't, because any concessions that we make towards North Korea is just going to be exploited later, as we've shown as history has shown numerous times with North Korea. Any concessions are going to be used against us later on, and any weakness that we show is just an opening to China, who should be taking care of this. I mean, this is honestly more of China's problem than it is ours. They helped enable them. This is right on their border. This is their problem too, because now the North Koreans are turning against them or have turned against them. So this is China's fucking problem. And I don't understand why that there's not more emphasis in any way, especially from the outlets that are still in favor of our existing. They would see it as a more cynical empire in the world. I see it as a more noble empire in the world, our hegemony in the world. They still, in essence, agree with that hegemony, but for different reasons. And you would think that they would actually have a better position on this, but they don't. They seem to be, and I saw this in NBC today. I was watching some news with my family, and I watched this whole segment they did on the missile thing flying over Japan, and all they did was egg on war. And it's like if they have any kind of inside knowledge themselves, it's like this is the exact wrong thing to do, because if there's going to be a lot of people that fucking die, and that's why we're not going in and why we're holding back, you know, it's really fucking awful that you're egging this on. It's really fucking awful that you're trying to say, like, oh, well, really, I guess it's really just the military option that we have left. And it's like, well, if there's a lot of people that are going to fucking die from this, it's not a good thing. You know, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know if anyone really knows outside of the people that are in the know, so to say, that knows what the potential losses will be if we do invade fucking North Korea, of whether it's China, Japan, or South Korea in terms of who stands to lose. You know, like, I don't know, but somebody does. And we shouldn't be egging on this situation. It really frustrates me with what North Korea is doing. And I do still stand by that if something does not radically change, that eventually they will launch a missile. Excuse me. Vodka's kicking in. They will eventually use those weapons. I am still confident of that. I do still think that they are a rogue state, that even though they are acting in a way to play an angle, that's what I think this Japan missile launch was. I think this was them playing an angle in terms of geopolitics. But I think that sooner or later, whether by mistake or by intention, intentionally, they will eventually launch a nuke, and they will nuke some country. And I fear that it will be South Korea. If you were to ask me what's the probable location of the nuke, it's going to be fucking Seoul. It's going to be South Korea. And millions of people will die. At a minimum. I mean, or at best, they would have suffer hundreds of thousands of losses. At worst, it'll be millions. And my reaction to that is to keep the military option on the table, because we're not given any other option than to keep it on the table, because it's worth losing tens of thousands to save hundreds of thousands or potentially millions. You know, it's worth losing that many people in an artillery assault or whatever else they have primed and ready to use in case that we attack. But it's better to lose that many people than to wait longer and lose hundreds of thousands or potentially millions. And it's not because we're aggressive and this is another Iraq. I mean, this is just us and East Asians having to stop this rogue state that is threatening the world with nuclear annihilation, saying that we are building nukes and we are going to use them. I mean, there's no equivocation, and they don't equivocate in terms of what they're going to do. And I'm just taking them at their word. I'm taking them at what they're doing in terms of their actions. This can only go on for so long before we eventually act, or they act and they use the weapons, because they're not a stable nation. This is not the USSR. This is not a fucking coherent, rational actor. This is a rogue state, and I think it should be treated as such and seen as such and said, like, listen. And if Trump wants to be the fucking maverick and all the rest, he needs to make a stronger case that the Chinese, the South Koreans, the Japanese, and us and other allies and the rest of the nations in the fucking East Asia, we should be working together to curb this threat. That if what is required is an attack on 2 fronts or 3 fronts, you have the South Koreans going from the south, Chinese going from the north, and us coming from the sea. If that's what's fucking required is a coordinated fucking war, then that's what it's going to have to be. To quote the one comedian from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, if that's the way you want it, that's the way you're going to get it. If everyone has to unite and attack you, then that's what you're going to fucking get. But you only show yourselves as a target that needs to be fucking stopped. And and eventually, you're just going to use your weapons. It's just a matter of time before you nuke somebody and millions potentially die. Or potentially millions die. Again, the vodka. So yeah, that would be my quote. If I was Trump, I'd get in front of a stage and I quote that comedian from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and I'd say, if that's the way you want, that's the way you're gonna get it, and I'd fucking declare war, and I'd take fucking Kim Jong Un, I'd take him to the White House lawn, put a bullet in his fucking head, and be done with the whole goddamn situation. Have there no longer be a South Korea, North Korea, there'd just be a Korea. Hopefully bring in a few 100,000 refugees to America and be done with the whole goddamn situation. How many goddamn decades need to pass before this situation is resolved? Whether that's them nuking somebody and us attacking, or us just attacking and ending the situation. And it's not because we're the evil instigators. It's not because the United States is declaring another Iraq, as already said. It's because you do nothing. You do nothing but antagonize us. You do nothing but antagonize Japan. You do nothing but antagonize the South Koreans. That's all you do day and night, and you've done it for decades. Eventually, you're going to act, or we're going to have to act and fucking take you out. And I don't know what needs to happen. I'm not in the know, as I've already said. But this needs to be fucking resolved. So I will stop sharing my screen because that is the last article, and I will quickly check Twitter. And somebody sent me a Chad Kim Jong-un meme. So thanks for that fucking... It's pretty funny, but thank you for that meme. Somebody sent me some cancerous article from Lo Ping talking about Antifa and white supremacy. I've had a bunch of people all day long tweeting me shit from the comment section, including V. I had V send me some shit on fucking Skype about people doing the "We Was Kangs" meme on the Steam section of Assassin's Creed Origins, or Origin, whatever it is. Oh man, they've been great. I've seen so, like, somebody posted one where it was like this rambling fucking post talking about secret shit in the game, like secret something. I forget what it was exactly, but secret carvings or something like that. And it's spelled out. And they took this from the leftists in the resignation articles that were spelling like impeach or resistance or whatever. Like they did the same thing, except for they spelled "we" was Kangs. Oh my god, when I saw that, I laughed so fucking hard. I laughed so fucking hard, man. I encourage everyone to keep trolling Assassin's Creed Origins because the franchise is dog shit. It's a shit franchise. That's likely to be a shit game. There are people outright saying that there is "we was Kang's" shit in the game, that is a real thing. It's not just a meme. It's in the game. So I encourage everyone to keep doing it because it's fucking funny. And fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, we've had enough in this game. We've had enough of this in the gaming industry. We've had enough of this in terms of those of us that consume games and those of us that are gamers. We've had enough of this shit. So if the response is mockery, that's the best response, other than, you know, organizing some bona fide boycotts and all the rest. If you don't want to do that because you think that's cringy or whatever else, fucking mock the shit out of their crappy games. And it's well-deserved and it's effective. That's what PewDiePie did with Andromeda. It was effective. That's what we should be doing with fucking Assassin's Creed because it's a dog shit franchise. So be sure to meme the shit out of Assassin's Creed fucking Kang's edition. So let me turn this over to the fucking chat. Let me figure out where the fuck the chat is. Give me a second here. Oh, actually, this is the wrong way to get it up. Remember when people said that's what she said? People said that when I was in high school. Remember? So yeah, let me okay, so we're good. We're good now. Let me see if we got any fucking super chats. Okay, we got some super chats by Fraser Danger says, should we give Sargon a platform? Sure. The Alpha Frag says, have you heard of anime protagonist, the Western VN with 3D boob physics? There's other VNs with fucking boob physics. I think that cat franchise, the Cat Girl franchise, Nico Para, I think that has boob physics. But I don't think I've heard of that offhand. Charles Mandora says, what should we do about aristocratic feminine penises? Do we need any more masculine penis revolt? I guess so. I stand by my masculine penis. I think the feminine penis is kind of a trap joke, isn't it? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's a trans joke instead of a trap joke. How fucked is it that, and this is the Geth that says this, fuck you, the Geth, I let you die in Mass Effect 2, you deserved it. Or maybe it was in Mass Effect 3, I don't remember. How fucked is it that the elites want to dick around in Afghanistan and Syria, but ignore North Korea? I mean, that's the thing, is that like one of the bona fide threats that exist out there that threaten on a daily basis our military allies is North Korea. But instead we want to just fuck around in Afghanistan like we're fucking, what is it, fucking Bastard Snake, or whatever the fuck Snake in Afghanistan and Metal Gear Solid fucking 5. I played that recently, but I had to uninstall it. Gave up on it. I was like, I just can't finish this. It can't retain my interest. Not a bad game, but it just can't retain my interest. I like certain elements of it. I couldn't get into the whole like forward-based shit and all the rest. It was just too what's the word? Not incoherent. What's the word? I forget. It starts with a C, and it means unintelligible or impossible to understand. I'll check the chat. Chat, help me out here. It's confusing is one of the words, but it's not the word that I'm looking for. Punish Snake. Convoluted. Thank you, Zeppy. Thank you, Zeppy, bro. Convoluted is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, it is convoluted. I like a lot about the game, but once you get past, I forget what mission it is. It's like where you have to go to the airport or whatever in Africa, but it introduces the forward operating bases, and it becomes way too much. And I'm just like, I got to that point. I'm like, I just got to stop. I can't take this. I did beat, for the first time, I beat completely Fallout 3 the other day. I was playing it very slowly over the course of like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and I beat it. And I still stand by the fact that that the Enclave is the best organization. The only exception I make is, and I don't even understand, what was it, August? I don't even understand why they follow him, Colonel August, or Autumn, rather. I don't get why people even follow him. The guy just makes decisions that don't make any sense. Like, it just, like, fucking President Eden had the complete correct approach to the issue of the wasteland. He had the complete accurate approach about how things should be done. It's propagandize the people there and try to win them over. And Autumn did follow the suit of, well, we'll provide them water and they'll be forced to rely on us, and that's how we'll gain power in the area. But they went so far as to provoke the fucking Brotherhood, and they got annihilated. They got absolutely fucking annihilated. If you play the game, the Enclave got fucking stomped by the Brotherhood, and it's just like, you guys completely made it. It was a total fucking blunder, and it's all Colonel Autumn's fault. It's completely his fucking fault. He's the one. I mean, he countermanded the fucking president. He did it so, and did so in a way to make sure that it was a difference. Like, you had to choose. You had to choose to side with Eden, or you had to choose to side with Autumn. And because that happened, Eden turned against Autumn's troops, and you had the robots turn against Eden's troops, and Autumn's troops, and it's just like it frustrated me to no end when I was playing through it. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, this is all Autumn's fault. This is absolutely, Autumn's troops attack you in the game. No matter what you do, they always attack you. I mean, sure, people can say it's bad writing, and I'm willing to agree to some extent, But it just pisses me off. Because it's like, this is one of the only institutions, the only factions in this universe that I have ever agreed with to say that, okay, they do have legitimacy as an organization. They are the actual remnant of the U.S. government, despite how awful and evil they were. They do have the bona fides of that institutional status, and they do have the power in the ability and the order and the understanding and the knowledge and all the rest to actually bring about order in the wasteland and potentially resurrect the United States of America. And yet this fucking one cocksucker fucks it all up. He fucks it all up. So I can't begin to tell you how much that fucking pissed me off playing through that again and finally finishing it and just being like, this is all his fucking fault. Fuck this guy. He ruined the whole goddamn thing. So, yes, I still stand by the Enclave, but I mean, you had this guy abandoning Raven Rock because he betrays Eden, countermands Eden, leaves Raven Rock, goes to the fucking wasteland, gets absolutely goddamn annihilated by Liberty Prime and the fucking and the brother. Just gets they get completely fucking decimated by them. It's not even a comparison. Anyways, moving on to the next question. Was that even a question? Somebody I don't even know what brought that on. Anyways. Louis, best YouTube despite Asian degeneracy, and that is said by someone with a fucking anime avatar. Fuck you, bro. You're just the same as me. You're just in denial. You're probably worse than me. I don't even watch anime. You know, I play visual novels, and I tweet out fine Asian bitches on Twitter. Like, you watch anime. You're the fucking faggot, all right? You probably watch shit with traps and enjoy it. That's how much of a faggot you are. I don't. So never step up to me, because you'll get beat back because you're the faggot. Will says, did you see the 4chan smear campaign against Antifa, the modified DV posters? I think I saw some of that, but it's a bit of a gray area, because I don't agree with 4chan creating propaganda or whatever. But I mean, that's what they do. But I will say that they do have a point in terms of, and I think it was Sargon that did the video on it, where he said that to some degree they're actually true in what they're saying, that if you have a certain percentage of white nationalists or whatever people on the right that are women, that includes them. So if all conservatives are Nazis, there are plenty of conservative women. It's like half the country, 50% or 50% of women in the country are, well, it is half the country, yeah, are conservative. So if every conservative is a Nazi, according to the cocksucker at the Daily Coast, then that includes a lot of fucking women. That's a lot of fucking women that need to be punched. So to some degree, you agree that you need to punch women in the face. And I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of fucking white male feminists, especially. Seems like most male feminists are white. There's probably a lot of white male feminists that are going to be fine with punching women in the face. That's kind of what they're known for. I mean, when they aren't shooting them or raping them or whatever else. But I'm sure they'll find it pretty easy to do that. So at least there's that. So that's it for the at least for right now, for the super chats. I see a question. Do I really own firearms? I own one. I own a single Beretta 92 FS, which is the same model, although it's a newer version of what many famous action heroes have used, including Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon, and especially in my regard, in terms of the action heroes I like, Bruce Willis in Die Hard. I think he used it in all but one movie, I want to say. Maybe the Russian one, too. He didn't use it. But I disregard that movie. But I think it was only the fourth movie where he didn't use it primarily. And I didn't like that because it's just changing things that are traits of a character or traits or characteristics of a character that are noteworthy. And that was one of the things that, and it's pretty funny too because I actually wanted to buy an older version of the Beretta 92 FS, but I actually, or 92 actually, and I looked it up, and actually the earlier models were actually pretty bad. I don't really know how many people here are like experts, but the old Beretta FSs were actually pretty bad and dangerous. And I think that it was either the first or the second Die Hard that Bruce Willis actually injured himself using it because he used an actual pistol that had, whatever it is, blanks in the chamber. He actually permanently damaged his hearing. If you remember the scene from the first, it was he actually injured himself more than one time. But on the set of the first Die Hard movie, when he's under the table and the guy's on top of the table with the I forget the German gun, but he's on the table with that SMG, and he's shooting onto the table as Bruce Willis is basically on his back, crawling backwards, trying to get away from the shots. I like that scene a lot. And the guy famously says, you're out of table, and I forget what he said. It's like something you always make sure you shoot or whatever else. And Bruce fires from under the table above into the table above, and it hits the guy. Bruce Willis damaged his hearing permanently because of that. Because he's holding the gun too close to his face, and he was under a table while he was firing. So he permanently damaged his hearing while doing that scene because it's a real pistol. And that's too bad in that regard, but it made for a damn good scene. That was a fucking awesome scene. I think his response to that, to the guy where he said, always shoot, or whatever it was, and he says, thanks for the advice. Oh man, it was such a classic fucking one-liner. Oh god, people, and that's what I mean. Like I used to love the people just said MP5. Yeah, thanks. I loved the first three. Really, people can talk shit about the second Die Hard. I thought there was a lot about the second, or Die Harder, that was actually still very good. There's a lot of good action movies that came out of the 80s and the 90s. Especially with Bruce Willis, there are a lot of fucking great action movies, and a lot of, even with Mel Gibson too. Mel Gibson, it was started in a fair few, and I actually referenced one in the script that I wrote, where I talk about how all these corporations are basically all at once ganging up on the far right, or who they conceive of to be the far right. They're all at once ganging up on the far right and going after them. And I say the reference I make is that it makes me feel like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory, which is very much a 90s reference, because it's like I was always right. Like I'm the CIA fucking plant or whatever it is, where I have inside knowledge of what the operations are as it relates to the corporatists, and you see them now turning, like they're actively using their fucking power against the far right. And that's the thing I've been afraid of, is the corporations and the corporatists actually just targeting society, now becoming hostile to society. And that's what you see. So this is to me like some real fucking like some actual fucking Alex Jones-esque shit. Like this is some really scary shit. And unfortunately, I've spent too many days working to really have much time to work on a video about it. But I mean, it would just be me fucking wigging out and potentially screaming at the top of my lungs about how I was right, and about how the corporations are all coming for us, and how all the corporatists are in league with one another, and that's how they're all they don't even need to collude with one another in terms of going after the far right. They just all hold the same beliefs. That's all it is. And they see the same target. And today it's the far right. And tomorrow it's going to be fucking us. As soon as they realize it's going to be people like me that, see through their shit, It'll be me next. It'll be all the rest of us. Okay. I figured those articles would take me longer. So I see people saying that they agree with I don't know, people are still talking about guns. I don't know why people brought up guns. Somebody said that I should get a Colt 1911. I don't want to get a 1911. The bullets are way too fucking. I don't go shooting very much anymore, anyways. But the bullets are super expensive, and I have a friend of mine that shoots his, and eventually maybe I'll shoot his and pay him like $20 to shoot 2 rounds or however many it costs to buy the rounds. But I doubt that I'll like it. I'm not really into higher caliber pistols, even though the 1911 has better grip to it. And that's one of the things I like about the Berettas. It has a better grip to it. My father my father had a whole bunch of pistols, and my father still does have for whatever reason, he sold like a shitload of his pistols and bought like 1 million fucking rifles that he never shoots. But he bought a shitload of guns in the not too distant past, and I don't think I've maybe I shot 1 or 2 of them. I don't even remember, but I haven't gone shooting in quite a while, probably over a year. They moved to Detroit, you'll shoot more often. I think Detroit nowadays gets a bad rap. I think if you want to make fun of like a crime-ridden shithole city, you just Chicago, man. Chicago's completely out of control. Like if you and I flew to fucking Afghanistan and then flew to fucking Chicago, we'd probably be remarking about how peaceful Afghanistan is. At least you wouldn't have so much fucking violence concentrated in such a small space. You know what I mean? I had a chance to go to Chicago when I was in high school, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to go then. Yeah, some guy with a fucking Russian name just said that Chicago has really great orchestras, though. I agree. Chicago has a lot of cool artistic shit to it. Orchestras, music, all the rest. Art, even. It's got a lot of good shit for those of us that like the civilized bourgeois shit. It's a nice city, and it's too bad that it's currently a fucking third world shithole. Oh god, I need to get myself another tall glass of my orange juice and vodka, I think. But we'll finish out this stream first before I can do that. I gotta finish like at least 2 reports tonight, and they're not that bad. I finished a decent amount of 1 earlier today, so thankfully I don't have much to go. But one night I probably had 4 of these, which is tall glasses. I had a good portion of 1 bottle of Polish vodka, and I was writing one of my reports. It took me like 2 hours to write it because I was just basically like I was probably closing in on drunk. I was more intoxicated then than I have been in quite a while, and I was basically like writing a word, making sure the word made sense in terms of the sentence, and then writing another word. I was pretty fucking far gone. It was probably like 1:30 in the morning before I finally finished what I was doing and sent that in. I was like, wow, this is kind of a mistake. I should have finished this before I started drinking. But holy shit, that was somebody correcting me. It's called a screwdriver. Let me look that up. Make sure you're not bullshitting me. Oh, you're all right. You're all right. It's orange juice and vodka. All right. Thanks for the correction, Mr. fucking anonymous guy in the chat. I don't care. People mocking me, saying, "Oh, what are you, a fag? You're drinking a mixed drink." It's like, what do you want from me? You know, I've drunk straight vodka before. It was disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. What's my opinion of knobs? Who the fuck is knobs? Mr. Jackson asks, do I own a fleshlight? Wink, I do not. And that's the actual truth. I do not. I do not own a plastic pussy. Maybe eventually I will, just so I can make sure that people can say that I'm a legit customer of JList, where you can find as many as you could possibly. I mean, it doesn't even really make sense to me, I gotta say, in terms of like the advertising, like the schoolgirl pussy, the teacher pussy, the virgin witch pussy, whatever crazy shit they got going on. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But whatever, fucking go buy some. You know, whatever. Maybe I will too. Do I own a bad dragon? No, I don't. Why would I don't own a fucking dildo. That's just pretty ridiculous. I mean, maybe if I ever did this where I showed my face, I would buy a bad dragon and just, you know, it'd be funny, just keep it in the background of like a bookshelf. Just have it like very, very like low key visible. Like it's just barely visible, and just leave it there and never never fucking reference it. Oh man, that'd be great, just to fuck with people. Or maybe like bring it up in his stream and just say that I'm doing it on purpose to fuck with people, and just have that be a meme of like the inside versus the outside. That would be fucking great. People asking me questions I don't get. Pile driver? Okay, now the references are, or the memes are starting. Thanks. No BS. I don't know who you're talking about, bro. Daka says Lewis enjoys gay drinks and has an Italian gun. Thanks a lot. I do have an Italian gun. It's imported too. I didn't buy the American version. I've been warned against buying the American versions of Beretta. I've been told that the American versions are garbage. Do I like spiced rum? I don't really like rum that much. I've had rum in a couple drinks, but I don't really like rum that much. Ezekiel I ask, should the U.S. create a Department of Kebab Removal? Well, I don't necessarily think that we should like forcefully remove Muslims or whatever else, but I do think that, as I've said before, that our immigration policy on Muslims should be as close to zero as possible. People saying that I am okay. I'm just gonna ignore that. I don't even care. You can throw the flashlight to distract people on your missions. What? I don't even know what you're referencing, Mr. Scales. You know what would be funny is if I had a bad dragon dildo and on top of it was a fleshlight. That'd be funny. Hide that in the background of a video. The only other gun that I've been considering buying in the distant future would be another Beretta, would be the Olympia shotgun. Just because I know somebody that owns one, and they've hyped me to it, and they said I should buy one. And I like the design. I like a lot about it. So if I had to buy another gun just for like vanity's sake, or for just to own it, would be another. It would be a Beretta shotgun. But outside of that, for practical reasons, I may eventually buy like a smaller Glock, and that's just because, unfortunately, the just the amount of danger that I put myself in is just really fucking stupid. I mean, that's one of the things that with my job, they don't take seriously. Like my job just they put me in danger all the time, and they don't even like care. Like today, I'm out there, and I had 2 cases today. I had an easy case where I go talk to a guy, do some paperwork. That's one of the reports I got to finish. And the other one's investigating this black lady who is obviously up to something. I've already documented that, you know, she's up to something. She's running some sort of charity or business on the side, whatever. And she lives in a fucking Latino community where it's like, is it like, you know, like in a more middle class or at least decently working class area? No, it's a scummy, rundown fucking neighborhood in Buffalo where it's predominantly Puerto Rican, where everyone around me speaking fucking Spanish. And that's how you know you're in a shitty area, is nobody around you speaking English. That's a shitty area. And I'm out there, and I'm out there with a fucking camera trying to film somebody. And you got all these fucking, you know, this guy, these families with fucking 12 kids running around, and I'm out there trying to film. And I'm sitting there, and it's like, you know, I'm just going to have a day where you're going to have one of these fucking wannabe gangster dudes that are standing around on the block at 1 in the afternoon. Obviously fucking gangster cocksuckers, don't have a job, are worthless scum. And they see me with a camera in my hand. I'm some fucking white fucking idiot in khakis and a polo shirt sitting in Buffalo in the middle of the day with a camera in my hand that's in the same direction as their children. They're going to run up to me and fucking try to either pull me out of my car or fucking kill me, shoot me. You know, they put me in these situations where I'm in danger. And I'm just going to have a gun on me. You know, it's just going to have to be the case. I've concealed carry a couple of times, and my company is completely against it. They're completely against the idea of any investigator carrying a weapon. They have like more than one policy saying that we completely say you can't have a weapon in any way and at any time on the job. And it's like, you know, well, it's somebody asked why I'm dressed like that. It's because I was doing an interview with another person on the behalf of an insurer. I met with somebody at their house as a representative of an insurance company. I have to dress up to do that. Otherwise, they basically give them a call to the adjuster, and they basically say, I had a guy show up. He was dressed like a fucking asshole. You know, you're not professional, blah, blah, blah. And they can get their lawyer involved, and it makes my company look bad. It makes me look bad, and my company gets on my ass. So I have to dress up to at least some extent. I used to do it in suits. I don't do it in suits anymore. I just show up usually in khakis and either a polo shirt or just a dress shirt. And that's why I was dressed like that when I was in Buffalo earlier. And it makes me stand out. And there's no way for me to stand out. And it's been one of the things that I've been complaining about whenever I've talked to friends or my parents or anything like that. It's one of the things they constantly complain about is the fact that they send me out there with nothing but my dick in my hand, dressed like the whitest motherfucker on earth. And I'm in the middle of sections of Buffalo that are either fucking pure Muslim, none of whom are white, straight Latino or Puerto Rican, Jamaican, or just black. And it's like, and the thing is too, is that there's an investigator that lives just on the outskirts of Buffalo that I'm aware of who is black. And it's like, yo, why do you not send them into these areas? Why do you not take 1 second to realize where these people live, what the districts are in Buffalo, and send the black person to go do it? Because you have a black guy that shows up in a district where it's all black people, no one's going to fucking notice him. But you have one super white-looking guy or super white guy wearing a polo shirt and khakis showing up in the middle of the afternoon, you know, sitting in a vehicle for fucking 5 hours or however many hours I'm there. They're going to fucking notice me. And it's just by race alone. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's the company's fault. It's something they could avoid, but they constantly do. And it puts me at risk. It really does put me at risk because, well, there's going to be, 90% of people that just look at me and go, hey, what's that white guy doing here? That's fine. It's whatever. It's just something you'd notice. But it's like you put me out there and you put me in certain districts that are really fucking bad. There are certain streets, there are certain neighborhoods that are really fucking bad. And I've investigated drug dealers. You've heard me talk about this before, where it's like eventually I'm just going to have to fucking carry every time I'm out there. So, yeah, eventually I'm just going to have to, Lewis Fireproof Troll says you're going to have to go Jeff Holiday. I don't know what you mean by Jeff Holiday. Use an Obama mask. Buffalo News, local manlet gang raids while serving court papers. That's not actually what I do. I'm not a process server. I lie all the time and I say I'm a process server. I do that all the time. But I'm not a process server. I'm an investigator. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna have to go to probably either it's unfortunate that the Gander Mountain in my area went out of business, but I'm gonna have to go to a local gun store in my area at some point, buy a smaller Glock, and just carry it on my person or carry it in my vehicle. And is it gonna be for, you know, when I'm in some rich suburb? No. Is it going to be when I'm in some middle-class suburb or lower-class suburb? No. Is it going to be when I'm in the richer parts of Buffalo? When I'm in, like, there are, like, middle-class parts of Buffalo that are predominantly black. Am I going to need it for that area of Buffalo? No, I'm not. But what I'm going to need it for is for the fucking Puerto Rican districts where it's all poor, fucking scummy people with 12 kids that are out there standing on the block at 1 in the afternoon. And it's going to be those kind of people, whether they're black, Latino, or whatever else. Or if I'm in a super rural, scary area, which happens on occasion, I'm going to have a pistol on me. And I'm just going to have to buy it. And I wish my company wouldn't do it. I wish they would stop doing this to me, but they don't give a shit. They can't take 1 second to research a fucking case to realize, you know, this guy is about to be driving into a district that's filled to the brim with people that are of differing ethnic backgrounds that are not his. Should we send him out there to stay out there in his vehicle for like 8 hours? Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe that's a bad move. The worst is when I have to interview people. I won't even get into it because it might break some fucking a disclosure thing that I've signed. But that is some of the worst when I have to go interview people in the middle of the fucking ghetto. God damn, is that awful. It's some of the worst parts of my job. It's like, yeah, go to the worst parts of this fucking city where you're the only white guy for fucking miles and go talk to people. Go fucking, hey, say like, hey, you know this about your neighbor? Can you talk to me about your neighbor? It's like a lot of the time you will run into people, especially older people of whatever background, that are just going to talk to you. They don't really give a shit. But occasionally you have to interview some fucking scary hombres, as it said. And it's the least favorite part of my job. What I need to do is get a black friend and bring him with me. Get a black friend, bring him with me, and just say, bro, I'll give you like $15. Just go ask these questions for me. Go talk to these people for me. I don't want to talk to these people. They frighten me. They're standing on the block at 1 in the afternoon. They don't have a job, and they're scary looking. They got tattoos and everything else. I'm here in a polo shirt and khakis, and they're beating people up in certain cities because they have polos. Go talk to these people for me, man. I'm scared. Daka says in Super Chat, paint yourself with Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, problem solved. I mean, I've had a lot of people joke about that and suggest that to me. I mean, that's one way to get me shot, I'm pretty sure. I have to fill this glass up again. I'm out of my screwdriver. My screwdriver is now empty. Oh, okay. I have Zeppy making a very offensive comment that I won't read. Do we got any actual fucking non-offensive or? Jesus Christ, some of these fucking questions. Snake asked what happened to my petition. I already said at the beginning of this stream that it was successful. And thanks to everyone involved. So we'll close this out because I've been going for a couple hours. We'll get down to final questions. So lightning round time. Hat Maker asks, what is the favorite part of your job, in all caps? It's, I guess you can say, I'm not really looking forward to it because it's only, I think, the I want to say the 3rd time that I've had to straight do testimony in front of the actual person, like the suspect or whatever, however way you want to put it. But in a couple days, and I'm not looking forward to this, I actually have to go to court, and I'll be sitting in basically a conference room set up with the prosecutor, the judge, the suspect, or in the case of, in the jargon that I use, is claimant, because they make a claim on behalf of an insurance company, so they are a claimant. The judge, the prosecution, the defense, and then me. And basically, I have to give testimony on behalf of what I saw during a day when I took footage and did surveillance on this person. And this person is not facing the steepest charges that I have basically given testimony on. He's facing fraud and a few other things. It's mostly a civil procedure for now, but it can result in a criminal procedure later. This is just to basically say on behalf of the insurance company that this person defrauded them and essentially owes them a fuckload of money. And this guy has the money to pay, but we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, this guy's going to owe them a lot of fucking money, because I won't say what he did, and I can't really get into the details, but he had a high-paying job of a particular sector, and he's going to owe a lot of fucking money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so this guy's fucked. And it's basically up to the prosecution whether they're going to proceed on behalf of the state and pursue criminal charges against them, which the case isn't great enough to where they can really get him. They might get him just on fraud, but there's not much more to it than that. But I've done other cases where they've got forgery, fraud, and perjury, and a whole shitload of other things where they've lied to multiple judges and all the rest. And in those cases, usually they get pursued, and I've testified in one of those cases. And that one was just me. I just had to testify in front of the judge and to say, like, this is my report. This is what I wrote. It's all good. This is what I did with the company and all the rest, just to give my bona fides and all the rest. This case, I actually have to sit in a small room with the guy in the room. Like it's the first time I've had to do that, and that's good. Well, it's actually not the first, but it's the first where I've not sat in a courtroom where it's been a legit just backdoor kind of room, because it's a civil procedure. I'm not looking forward to that, even though everything's good. Like, my report's good. I didn't lie. Everything is followed up on. It's all good. And there were 3 investigators that are going to testify, and one of them has this guy, and I won't say exactly what he's doing because I can't get into the specific details, but this guy was alleging, like, he had all kinds of fucking injuries. Like, he's essentially a cripple. And he's out there doing actual sports. And it's like, okay, this guy's fucked. Like, you've been caught, clearly stone cold, lying, committing fraud. But I rather not testify with a guy like fucking feet away from me. It's very much uncomfortable. Let's see here. What else we got? Have I met a nice girl and settled down yet? No, I haven't. I have. Well, I won't. I don't really want to get too much into my personal life, but the answer is no, generally, but I would hope to pursue as much later on when I find the fucking time. And I have to actually get in decent shape. That's my one problem. I gotta get in decent shape and take some fucking selfies and get on dating apps and all that shit. But unfortunately, this summer has been fucking brutal for me. Let's see here. I see. Do I ever do any voyeur shit as a PI? No, I don't really do any of that. I said the other day, I tweeted it out, that I saw some girl. I didn't say I was on the job, but I was on the job, and I'm trying to remember where I was. It was somewhere close to here. And this girl just shows up at her boyfriend's house or at her house, and she was topless. She just gets out of her car topless. And I'm just like looking at her like, what the fuck? Like, this is, I was like stunned. I was like, whoa, there's like this. She was tan. She was blonde. I would give her about an 8. She wasn't like super attractive, but she was pretty fucking attractive. She would be a step up from where I am on the fucking spectrum of looks. And she just looked in my direction, and she was obviously aware of the fact that I was looking at her, and she just waved at me. She just smiled and waved at me like a flirty wave. And I was just like, I just sat there like the biggest cuck in the world. But she did have a boyfriend. she met him at that house, and I spotted them later on. So she does have a boyfriend. But that's one of the things. Like, I don't really appreciate that too much. Like, I don't want to act on you topless, waving at me in a flirty way, and then I approach you, and then I get the shit beaten out of me by your fucking boyfriend, who literally, I think it was her boyfriend's house. It's like, I don't want to get the shit beat out of me by your fucking boyfriend. You know, I don't appreciate that, but whatever, you know, flirty girls are how they are. They don't really give a shit about, you know, yours truly getting the shit beaten out of me. Someone said a second R says that I identify as a 7. I would say so. I'm probably around there. I'm not in good enough shape to qualify as an 8. I wouldn't say that I'm attractive enough to be an 8. I would probably say that I'm between a 7 and an 8. I could potentially be an 8. But it's also the difference between the gradient of a male and a female. I think it's obviously different. But I would say that I'm between a 7 and an 8. But the issue on my end is the fact that I don't work out enough. If I worked out all the time and I got in decent shape, I'd be an 8. I'm willing to say that. I have enough confidence on my behalf. Because unlike many other men in this world, I'm not fucking shallow. I only lie when need be. I'm not petty in that way. I don't lie for any other reason. I don't cheat. That's also true about me. I am monogamous. And I'm also interesting. I won't bore you. You know, if you're looking for somebody who's a man that's going to bore you, then don't choose me. Find yourself somebody that's better looking than I am that will bore you and probably cheat on you, and you'll live in a loveless marriage. But if you want somebody that'll try, somebody that's interesting, somebody that's decent looking at least, that's you got me. Oh, let's see here. Let's see here. What do we got here? Somebody's saying that I need to go to Canada because there's a ton of fucking Asian chicks. You don't need to tell me about Canada, bro. There are a fuckload of Asians in Canada. I have learned that. I've learned that through my own research, that there are a fuckload of Asians in Canada. It's a good thing. I'm glad to live near a border town. That's the fucking perks of living on the fucking border between Canada and the United States, is that I can try to see if I can win myself an Asian immigrant to Canada and bring them to the United States. I can propagandize and coerce them or persuade them or whatever you want to put them into becoming more like an American. That is the perks. Because the Canadians are weak. They have no culture outside of what they apologize for, and all the rest. So I can out fucking I can bull the Canadian women, so to say. If you understand the cuck shit. Canadians are cucks, and I'm the bull. That's the joke. Great. Now I'm getting shit. Now I'm getting shit for what I'm saying about myself. I'm not saying that I'm a nice guy. I'm not saying that I'm a nice guy. All right. I'm obviously kind of an asshole. So no, I wouldn't say that I'm a nice guy. I would just say that I'm monogamous and I don't cheat. I don't think that's me tipping my fucking fedora to women. I mean, out of what? The 1%? The 2 people that are listening to this stream that are fucking women? That's who I'm tipping my fucking fedora to? I don't think so. I think that was fucking charming, man. That just sent me a... Yes, it was. Are you 3/4 cuck being part French Canadian? Fuck you. I always say that I don't even know if French Canadians are necessarily cucks. I don't really know. I know that they're bourgeois as shit and annoying and assholes and just mean, uptight, fucking just look down on everyone. There's a lot you can say about French Canadians. I don't know if they're necessarily cucks, predominantly, like most other Canadians, but they're annoying and they're rude and they're just bourgeois and shit, and they're not ashamed about it. They look down on fucking everyone, and I don't like French Canadians. And I say that as somebody with family in that part of Canada. You know, I don't like them. They're fucking assholes. And I've met enough people that are French Canadian that are fucking assholes. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, if I have bad experiences in my life with certain kinds of people, and I say like, yeah, this certain kind of person are fucking shitty, you know, that's my experience. And I'm not a racist because I am part French Canadian. Go meet some and you'll realize. Okay, I got to catch up on chat. So Graham asks, have any local news stations come to you regarding that petition? No, I'm actually surprised by that. I fucking tweeted every local news station that actually wrote a story on it. Literally every single one. I've tweeted shit at them more than once. To the guys that wrote the main story that was cited at the Buffalo News, I followed both of them, and I tweeted both of them more than once, and neither one of them actually followed me back, probably until he saw my nude pictures on Saturday and then unfollowed me. But he followed me for a while and never sent anything to me. I thought he was going to DM me because I followed him. But I never heard one word about it. Nothing. So I'm disappointed by that. Some guy with a Russian name says most women are flat as hell, though, probably in reference to somebody else. I think that there's a pretty wide variety in terms of breast sizes as it relates to women of all kinds of, racial backgrounds and ethnicities and all the rest. I don't really think that there's any kind of one breast size for any one group. I just know that I'm not into land whales, and I'm not into women that have gigantic fucking tits that are going to become saggy and disgusting in 20 years. And are later going to result in back problems where essentially they hunch over like a fucking old lady at the age of 50. So yeah, no thanks. I'm not into fucking big tits. I'm just not. Pepsi Man, who I think used to go by a different name, if I'm not mistaken, said, "Are you a sadist or a masochist?" Well, I would very much say that I'm not a masochist, and I know that that's something obvious that people can meme and say like, "Oh yeah, that's obvious denial," blah blah blah. I'm not really into pain. I'm not really into having a woman dominate me. I tend to like to feel in control of relationships. Um, I wouldn't say that I'm fully evolved out of the fact that I was at one point in my life insecure, and I am a jealous person. So I would say I wouldn't say that makes me sadistic, but that would make me a bit more dominant in a relationship. And I would rather wear the pants, so to say, in a relationship than not. And I don't like if, for example, if the girl that waved at me in a flirty way, if I was there and I was the boyfriend, that would really piss me off. That would really fucking piss me off. I wouldn't like that. And I wouldn't say that isn't the disposition or the perspective of somebody that's a masochist. A masochist would like, or at least I guess, prefer women to be more dominant in the relationship, and I don't like that. You can say that's insecure of me, that makes me a jealous person or whatever else, but that's me. Thankfully, the few relationships that I've had, that's never been an issue. And I think it's because I've made it very clear, whether through my behavior or my actions or what I've said, that I don't tolerate that. That's something that I consider to be a very much an offense in that relationship, is for even the joking attempt at flirtation with other men in my presence. I don't really have much tolerance for that. But in terms of like sexual behavior, in terms of like sadomasochism, I'm not really into that. I'm not. It's like if that's your kink or whatever else, like I'm not gonna judge or whatever. But it's not really me. Okay, so I have somebody fucking asking if I'm a faggot. No, I'm not. Thanks for the approach, but I'm not gay. Regarding your petition, Graham asks in a follow-up, if the news wants to talk to you, are you going to show your face on the news? Probably. It depends on who they are. It depends what their angle is. It depends how they approach. If they ask, like, are you willing to do it in face interview on the petition? I would basically sit down, come up with a few talking points, as you do in politics, and then show up and I do it. I'm not ashamed to defend my area from Marxist cocksucker professors. I'm not ashamed to show up and put my face to that because I know my company won't fire me for just defending. I mean, my company's based in, well, I shouldn't say where it's based. It's based somewhere in the South. But I know, like, there's a lot of fucking people at that company that would not see me fired because I defended fucking statues. I would very much think that a lot of people at that company, including most of the people at the top, would stand by me. So they wouldn't necessarily come out and say like, oh, we support Louis and love everything he said, but it would just be tacit approval. We're not going to fire you. So I wouldn't be afraid to put my face out there in regards to that issue. It would be other things that I'd be afraid to. Like if somebody were to ask me to, oh, Louis, show your face and talk about race and IQ. No, I don't think so. Even if I have an issue with the whole discussion on it in terms of what's said, I wouldn't have any association with it just because I know the first thing would be done was, oh, Louis is a racist, fire him. And that would be a thing where my company would probably be like, oh, shit, we don't want to have this coming at us, so fuck him. The statues thing, I think I could defend, and there wouldn't be a problem. And if that's how I do a face reveal, I don't fucking care. Whatever. Let's see here. Do you have a pretty face? By Mitch. I probably not. I would say I probably I have a baby face. I would say I have an issue with a baby face. It's one of the benefits is that I'm not very old looking. So I have the appeal of youth despite my age. But the unfortunate part of that is I do have a baby face, and that's not necessarily what the average woman is seeing attractive in a men or in men in general. I would, for my estimation, anyways. Most women, or at least a certain portion, would like a rugged man, even if that comes with the disposition of looking aged, or at least a handsome enough man that would look. The benefit would be that I'm clean cut, and there are women that like that, but the baby face, you know what I mean? Doesn't always work out. But like I say, I still think that I'm still within that range of 7 to 8. Oh my god. Well, that's what people picking apart what I'm saying. Like, listen, how many times do I have to say it? I would say to myself, I would say that I'm closer to a 7 unless I worked out more. If I got in good shape, I would be an 8. If I do a face reveal and you disagree, then fucking disagree. But if I was in better shape, I'd be an 8. And you're probably saying that because you aren't, so fuck you. Work out yourself, be less ugly yourself, and judge yourself by your own standard. And fuck you. There you go. You put money in your wallet, you're a 10. uh, so Oh God, the fucking comments are out of control. Okay, we got another super chat. Hang on. Fuck you. You're not a 10. It's just Will just sent me $10. Okay, thanks, Will. Next time, send a fucking message. I appreciate the money, Will, even though 40% of it's going to YouTube. Send a fucking message next time. I'm not tolerating any more donations without fucking messages. No more. Steve says that I'm naturally attractive, but I don't work out. Well, that's to your fucking detriment, bro. So you look like a twink boy. Well, that works to your advantage if you're gay. I mean, if you're a twink and you're gay, then I'm sure that works out. But if you're straight and you're a twink, I would suggest working out a little bit more. It's not, you don't really have to do much. It's just, for me, it's time and effort. You know, that's my problem. Do I have a wide frame / wide soldier or shoulders? I'm not sure. I don't even know. I'm not sure to what degree, if I do or I don't. All right, we've been going on for too long, so let's get down to some 2 fucking questions here. We're going on too long here, so 2 questions, and then we're wrapping this up. And I'm getting myself some more vodka, or another screwdriver, I should say, and I'm gonna work on some reports. So let's get 2 questions in here. So Will send another $5. It better have a fucking message. Will, fuck off with your donations without a message. God damn it. Fucking, we need to shame him. Shame Will. I don't know how to say your goddamn. You want to send me a fucking message? Say how to. You say your last goddamn name, your surname. I don't want to fucking say it. Shame this man. Shame this goddamn man for not including a fucking message with his donations. Do I check out asses on the job? Occasionally, yeah. There's been a commentary. I don't remember how long ago it was. Probably a year ago. But there was a chick that I was checking out who was walking with her boyfriend. And I don't remember if she was wearing super tight jeans or shorts. It might have been jeans, but she walked by, and she was definitely up there in terms of looks. And I was in the middle of recording a fucking commentary, and I just checked her out. It's funny. Oh, great. Here, okay, we'll see if this is an actual question. If Train A leaves New York City holding 20,000 refugees heading towards Buffalo, and Train B leaves Buffalo to crash into Train A, what is the harm? Oh, that's my first last. That's a great fucking joke. That's a fucking great joke. I agree. The answer to your question, first last, is 0. That is the answer to your question. So I will include that as one of the last questions. So we're down to 1 question. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, last question, guys. Let's make it a good one. Let's make this last question good. Scorsese or Tarantino? I won't include this as the last question, but I like them both. But I would say probably Tarantino. Even though I like them both, I would say Tarantino rather. So let's get a last question though. Somebody asking if I'm going to come out of the closet. Oh my! Is this another fucking super chat with no message? Fuck off, terrible burden. I'm going to include your name in there. I am going to legit copy and paste your name into chat and say fuck you for that $10 donation with no message. Paste. There you go. And you just said LOL right after it. Fuck you. There you go. No more super chats without messages. Do I tip my fucking bullets in pig's blood? Oh my god. Okay, I guess we're gonna have it as well. I'm gonna put your name in chat. I don't even. It's some fucking long. Fuck you. That's all you get. That's all you get. If you're donating $5 to me, you're just getting a fuck you in response. This is how you remain profitable on YouTube. Every time somebody gives you money, you say fuck you. All this is the problem. You have haters on your channel that send you money. That's the problem. Oh my god, chat's fucking. Oh my god. Burden, go away. Stop sending you. I mean, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, we're sending, or you're sending, really. I'm not doing anything, but you're sending 40% of that money you're sending to fucking Google. Like, I want to get off of YouTube, man. Like, I wanted to do a video, and I recorded a rant that I didn't post because it just wasn't good enough. Where I was just ranting about the fact where it's like, I just want to get off of YouTube at this point because it's falling apart. It's not going to survive this. It's over with. YouTube is done. It is over with. And like, the fact is that every time you guys give me money, you might as well just break off a couple dollars from whatever you're handing me and just give it to fucking the cocksuckers running this company and destroying it and trying to discriminate against people that are on the right. People are saying that my audience are a bunch of masochists, so that means I'm the sadist. What do you? I mean, I don't even know what to like. You would call, in like an S&M scenario, you would call the sadistic woman or the dominant woman in that position. You call her mistress. I don't know. Would you call me Mister? I don't even know. What do you call a male in an S&M scenario where the male is the sadist or whatever, the dominant one? Is it Mister? My problem is I watch too much femdom. Master? Okay. Master or sir? I don't believe daddy. I don't believe daddy. I think that's bullshit. I think that's meme bullshit. Sensei. Oh, that's how I'm going to fucking involve myself in the S&M community. I'm going to demand that the masochists or the submissives call me sensei. Call me senpai. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's too funny. That's fucking great. That's fucking great. Where you have this girl, like, get into a relationship with a girl where she's submissive, and she's like, "Oh, what do you want me to call you? What do you want me to call you? You need to call me sensei. You need to call me Oni-chan." Oh God, it's like a fucking bad plot for an anime. It really is. It's like a bad hentai. Oppa or Big Brother. Okay, we need to fucking get a last question. How much longer does this need to go on for? End this. We've dipped below 300 fucking concurrent viewers. Fuck this stream. It's over with. Fuck the donations. Fuck the super chats. Fuck it all. End this goddamn stream. Oh, I don't know if I should spoil this or not. Oh no, I think I already have. I'm probably going to do a live stream of the Life is Strange, whatever the fuck, the thing that's coming up on the 31st, I think it is. But not necessarily on the 31st, but I'm going to do a stream of that. Okay, so I'll ask the question because you guys keep fucking asking it, but these don't count. Do I listen to opera? Not really much anymore. When I was a guard, I listened to classical music, including opera, for probably like 4 years. So yes, I used to listen to classical and opera. Not anymore. And is whatever the fuck asked thoughts on the modern abstract art. I don't care. It's art. What do you want me to say? I don't really pay much attention to art. I pay more attention to fucking Asian girls on my Twitter account than fucking modern art. That's my answer. Thoughts on Hurricane Harvey? It's awful. It's too bad for the people in Texas. Hopefully they can recover from that. So yeah, let's one more. Just one question. Will there be lesbian sex in Life is Strange? Yeah, I'm sure there will be. It'll be cringy as shit. The real goddamn question about Life is Strange is in the fucking follow-up. Will we be able to romance Victoria, not Veronica, Victoria? Will the player what's your face that is no longer fucking voice acted by that cunt, Ashley Birch? Will we be able to romance Victoria? And if the answer is no, then fuck that game, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Let's see here. There are lesbians that are feminine. It's just the bull dykes that are fucking paid attention to. Because the thing is with lesbianism is that there is really two kinds of lesbianism. There is political lesbianism, and there is just lesbianism. There's girls' love, and then there is fucking political lesbianism. And what we specify here in the West is fucking bull dyke political lesbianism. And I don't like it. So I got another fucking super chat from whatever the fuck collective. If you give 60% of this, that means I just gave you 420. Blaze it, nigger. Thanks for that. How tall am I? I'm 5'10". Am I worried about refugees entering Buffalo through the Erie Canal? No. I'm not worried about them going through the Erie Canal. It's funny. Good fucking New York joke. That is not true. I was in college and there were some hot lesbians there, so you're wrong. You're wrong. The problem is fucking bull dyke bullshit is political lesbianism that is poisoned lesbianism. There are some hot fucking lesbians out there, and they are not just in porn. That is false. I've met them in real life more than one occasion. It is the bull dykes that are the problem. And they're given the press. They're the ones given the press. Would I take a blonde refugee? A blonde female refugee? I guess so. A white refugee? I don't know. I don't really know if that qualifies as a refugee. I think that my idea of a refugee, or my definition of a refugee, is basically the more Asian and attractive you are, the closer you are to my definition of a refugee. And the more you stray from being attractive and Asian, the less you are actually a refugee, by my fucking estimation. Those were lags, Louis, lesbians until graduation. Not necessarily. Well, I mean, even if they are, so be it. What are you taking issue with the fact that there are attractive lesbians? Who cares? That's a good thing. That's the good thing. We should have attractive lesbians. It should be all the fucking landwells that are oppressed by society. We should be oppressing the fucking bull dykes. I'm actively calling for that, for the oppression of the bull dykes. Fuck the land whales. Don't actually fuck them, but ostracize them in society. Somebody's saying that it was 70-30 lipstick to dyke. I would say that it might even be a little bit worse than that, especially depending on what country you're in, because America has a lot of fat women. It's not even just true for lesbians. There are a lot of fat women in this country. So it might be worse than that, just because women are fucking lazy. I don't give a shit whether it's their fault or not. I fucking lose some weight and stop being so ugly. Okay, can we fucking have a last question for Christ's sake? Can we have a question? Do you like girl-on-girl ass worship? No. I don't like ass play. I'm not into any of that. How lonely am I? I mean, put it on a fucking scale from 1 to 10, man. How lonely? It would also depend on like the category of like friends or acquaintances that you can hang out with, and also relationship. I would say that I would rather I'm more anticipating finding a girlfriend, because I do think that I've been on a dry spell for too long. In the friends category, I would say that I'm below where I would like to be in terms of hanging out with people, but that's mostly to do with my job. It's not because of my friends or anything else. It's because of my fucking job. I just don't have time to do fucking anything. So that's a bit depressed because of my job, but the girlfriend factor, I would say, out of a 1 to 10, I'd probably put it on like I'd probably say like a 7, soft 7 in terms of like loneliness, where it's like I actively would like to have a girlfriend, and I'm in the process of want to get my shit together and find some time to look for a girlfriend. But I wouldn't say that I'm like depressed or anything else. Like I've said before, if you give me the option of being lonely and a monk, or being stressed out and frustrated with a girlfriend, I'll choose to be lonely and a monk. Like, it's not worth it in that regard, but I would prefer to have one. Uh, I don't know who Hans Landa is. People asking me about my cock. Can we get a fucking last question that's not retarded? Can we get one, please? Can we bypass the donations and just get a fucking last question, for God's sake? Is you get a girl, or are you gonna give up on YouTube? Probably not. I'm sure I'll have less time. Terrible Burden asked me a question that I don't even know the answer to. Which video platform do you think will come out on top? Not mine's. There's your answer. Appreciate all the donations there, Terrible Burden. Stop, please, though, because I'd like to end the stream. Do I watch Hard Bastard? Not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Gross question about me coming in the shower. I have no question or no answers to some of these. Somebody asking me about Persona. I have a bunch of games here, including Injustice 2, which was a disappointment, that I'm going to eventually bring to GameStop and cash in and probably get Persona 5. I thought it was going to come out on fucking PC, but I don't know where the fuck it is. You know, I'd rather not get it on a platform because it increases the chances I'm not going to finish it, but it's like, where the fuck is it? So I'll probably buy Persona 5 at some point. I've heard it's decent. Pepsi Man asks, why don't you go to Pornhub or Chatterbait? I have gone to Pornhub. I don't even know what Chatterbait is. Did you spell that wrong? Because I don't know what you're trying to say by that. I legit don't know what you mean. Somebody asking me if I want to own a black person. Fuck off with these questions. God. Somebody asking, I've actually made a reference to this before. Why don't you get a nice trap instead of a girlfriend? I haven't ruled. Who says I've ruled that out? Go listen to previous streams. I don't remember which one I said it in. Who said I ruled that out? Will you do a stream with Mr. Medicare? He goes on small channels all the time. Bro, he doesn't know who the fuck I am. What do you want me to do? Fucking tweet at him? Hey, fucking Jim, do you want to fucking have a live stream with me? You don't know who the fuck I am. Do you want to talk about weird shit? I don't think he's going to do it. I'd like to do a stream with him. I think he's a smart guy, and I enjoy his videos and all the rest. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. Thankfully, people stopped asking me about drunken peasants. I used to be every goddamn stream. When are you going on the drunken peasants, Louis? It's like never, never. There's a spoiler. Never gonna happen. What kind of mic do I have? It's a fucking snowball mic, blue snowball. I don't like it. I want to get a new one. Oh man, I'm sure he has talked to bigger nobodies. A is irrelevant now. Oh, amazing atheist. Okay, I wouldn't say that he's necessarily irrelevant, but I mean, I would say that the drunken peasants have kind of lost their luster, at least from my perspective. I stopped watching them for a reason. Get a black girlfriend so you can role play slave fantasies. I mean, I'm sure that I mean it would depend on the black girl, and I haven't necessarily ruled out black girls. And I did have a chance at a black girlfriend when I was in college, when I went to Buff State, but it just didn't work out. I wouldn't rule out having a black girlfriend. It could happen. You know, I get on a dating fucking service, and there's a girl there, likely from my area, good looking, and you know, you do whatever, DM her or whatever the fuck, could happen. Have I seen the amazing atheist stick the banana up his ass? Yes, I have. I have seen that video. Get an Asian girlfriend so you can go atomic on that pussy. Yeah. See, if you want to get in some fucking crazy scenarios, it's not the slave master scenario. It's the internment camp victim and the guard scenario, or however you would phrase that. I'm the white internment guard, and they're the internee. There's your fucking like S&M scenario for you. And if they're South Korean or some other kind of Asian, it's even worse. It's like they've been unjustly imprisoned by the government. I'm not going to talk about don't get into I'm not going to talk about past relationships to that degree. So don't bother asking. I can tell you that I'll very much follow the same formula as other people who don't show they don't talk about their relationships. They don't show their spouses or their girlfriends or whatever else. If that ever, if and when I get a girlfriend, you're not going to hear me talk about it much. You'll just hear that I have a girlfriend, and that'll be to the extent. If she's Asian, then you'll hear about it. But if she's white or any other fucking thing, that you won't hear me talk about it much. And I would say that that's the best policy to have. Sargon does that. A lot of people have that. They don't talk about their loved ones. And I agree with that. And I would follow suit. I don't believe in that. Oh my God. How many fucking minutes does this need to go on? Give me a fucking final question. Jesus. Fucking 15 minutes. Okay. Literally, I'm just going to answer one last question. That's it. I'm not taking any more fucking questions because I've been tolerant and tolerance ends. And the people watching keeps dropping. We're down to 250. God damn it. We've gone from like 400 to 250. This is unacceptable. End this goddamn stream. Okay. Final question asked by John Sislowski. His question is paperback or hardback. And I would say that it depends on what the book is, what setting you're in. If you're in a setting where you can't really like lay out and relax, I would say paperback. But if you're in like a comfortable chair and you can take some time to read, I would say a hardback book. So there's the final fucking question. He gets it. None of the rest of you do, because he actually asked one where it wasn't asking me about fucking traps or my dick size or anything else. And to the answer to that question is bigger than yours, faggot. That's why I'm the fucking bull. Bigger than yours. That's why I'm an 8. Bigger than yours. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of the fucking stream. Look forward to the video that I'll be working on. It's going to be a Patreon or patron-backed video. And I plan on doing a stream on the Life is Strange thing, whatever the fuck it's called. I believe it's out on the 31st. I'll do it as soon as I can. And my hope, and based on some of the footage I've seen, it'll be an experience for all of us. So look forward to that shit. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the donations, except for those that didn't include a fucking message. Fuck you forever. Suck my dick forever. Never return to my channel. Unsubscribe. Block me. Everything else. I'm going to go finish some reports and get some more vodka or another screwdriver, so to say. Goodbye.